folks, welcome. This is not 108 Stitches. You may have noticed the little intro there was a little bit different. And if you saw my post on Instagram this last week, this is now Gently Chaotic Knits. And I'm really excited about that. And I'm going to talk about it more here in a minute. But welcome. Thank you so much for watching today. My name is Emily and I have it quite on display today. I live in Seattle, Washington with my husband Ovis and our pup Norman. This shirt actually I think is, weirdly, it's a Tacoma Rainiers shirt, which is the Mariners AAA team, baseball team, which is decidedly not in Seattle, as in Tacoma, but for some reason, I don't know, I just like the shirt. So anyway, sorry, I'm already getting distracted, but I am so happy to have you all here. And yeah, I changed the name of the podcast, and I also will be doing all my design work under this name as well, and I'm really, really excited about it. And just at the beginning here, before I get into everything else, well, first, it's been a couple weeks, and I'm so happy to be back, and I'm happy to be here, like, chatting with you all. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about why I did the name change, and I mentioned this a little bit when I posted about it on Instagram, but I thought I could talk about it a little bit here as well. And I think the biggest reason for me, one, those of you guys who have been watching for a long time, you know that, like, I named the podcast 108 Stitches at the beginning, and I had, like, a segment at the end of every episode that was, like, going to be about baseball. You know, I was going to talk about baseball, and I would talk about weird things that happened in baseball that week or whatever. And because, like, that was my job at the time, I was working for the Seattle Mariners, that was, like, always something that was, like, really on my mind, and I thought it was a cool way to kind of bridge two interests of mine that, like, maybe aren't often kind of shared in the same space. As time went on, I think I ended up leaving my job with the Mariners, but in general, just thinking about, like, that wasn't on my mind as much in this space. Like, I wanted this space to be really focused on knitting and crafting and making, and so, like, I kind of stopped talking about baseball unless it, like, pertained directly to my life and, like, what was going on. And so there were still bits and pieces, but I think it was just not nearly as centric to what this podcast was about. And so as things kind of transitioned in my life, I left my job with the Mariners. I'm now pursuing doing yarn and crafting full time. It felt like it was the appropriate time to have a change for the podcast and for my design, you know, the name of my designs and that kind of thing as well. So the way I kind of described it when I talked about it over on Instagram was just that, like, you know, when you're a kid, you go through different phases in your life, and you feel like you really need to redecorate, you know, like you're a new person, a different person, you have a transition, and it's time to repaint the walls of your bedroom, or it's time to cut your hair, or it's time to, I don't know, make some other kind of dramatic change to represent the change that happened inside of you. I felt like this was something that needed to happen for me to represent the changes that have been happening in my life. So the name itself, Gently Chaotic Knits, I could not be more excited about it. I think it's the perfect name. Actually, it was one of you who commented on a post a while ago on one of my videos. I was talking in the video about how my energy was kind of chaotic at that time, and if you guys have watched me, you know that that's kind of my energy a lot of the time. I'm really excited, but also try to be really kind. And so, anyway, the commenter said that my energy was, that I had gentle, chaotic energy, and that stuck with me so much. I remember the first time I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, that feels spot on for me. I don't know, it just, like, felt very me, gentle, chaotic energy. And so just a slight adjustment to make the name work, and I thought Gently Chaotic Knits was just the perfect name for all of this going forward. So I put together, I mentioned this I think in an episode a while back, I'd been working on some, like, you know, branding stuff, having, like, fonts and colors and, like, a logo and everything. You guys probably just saw the intro video that I put together for YouTube, I also have a really fun outro video that I think I like even more, so make sure to stay till the end of this this video, if you want to see the outro video, and all the patterns that I write are going to have this kind of branding with it as well. And I'm just really excited to have kind of like a cohesive set of design kind of tools and aesthetics to make all of the stuff that I share with the world really consistent. And I don't know, I spent some of the time when I worked with the Mariners on like doing design work and making sure that a lot of the reports and the stuff that we produced was really good and nice looking, so that would like increase player and coach buy-in. And just like, I think people are, you know, design matters, like producing something beautiful makes a difference. And so I spent a lot of time trying to put together something that I thought was beautiful, but I also thought was really representative of what I'm trying to do here. So anyway, I probably have talked about this way too long, but I'm really excited. I couldn't be happier about the new name, the new everything. The colors that I chose for like the logo and for everything are just so much fun. And I can put the, like, I don't think I have it in the intro or the outro. I have like a circle logo that I did that is my favorite. It's really fun, that I can put on the screen here, that I just really love. I think all the colors together are so much fun. I think it looks like a sun, but also kind of like a smiley face, and the fonts, I don't know, everything. I'm probably doing too much, like, you know, tooting my own horn or whatever, but I'm really proud of it, and I'm really excited about it, and I hope that you guys love it too. So that is my spiel about the new name and about the branding and everything. And let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the name. Let me know what you think about the logo and the colors and everything. I'd love to hear what you guys think, because this is y'all's space too. So anyway, that's enough about branding. I have a lot, I think, to go through today, so hopefully this isn't like super long, also because I need to take the dog for a walk in a little bit, so I need to make sure not to go too long here. But it has been a couple weeks since I last recorded. I went on vacation during that time and had a ton of stuff happen, and have made some progress on some knits, and it's just, I don't know, it feels like for some reason it feels like a hectic time to me right now. I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot going on, a lot of planning, and lots and lots of stuff. Maybe it's design stuff, or I don't know, it's like finally summer here in Seattle, so we're getting into like doing things season, like where we want to go places and do things and be outside. And so I'll talk more about like what's been going on in our lives and stuff too. I will just say briefly at the start here, I mentioned this on Instagram as well, so if you follow me there, you may have already read about this. Our vacation that I went on with my family, I talked about this before I went in the last couple episodes. We went to Wisconsin to visit my sister and her boyfriend who lived there in Madison, and then we went to Chicago and Milwaukee as well. And there was a medical emergency for one of the members of my family during that trip. And I'm not going to disclose like any more information about like who that was or what happened to them or anything, because that's not my information to share. But everyone is okay now. It was pretty stressful and scary there for a while, and because of that, I'm actually the type of person that, like, when I'm anxious, I don't feel like knitting. I don't know. I know some people, like, that's really where they go when they're anxious and when they're stressed. And I think to some extent, like, you know, I have pretty low level of anxiety most days of my life, and I can knit through that, but I think any kind of intense stress or anxiety or whatever, it's hard for me to knit through. So my hands just don't want to do it, I guess. I don't know. So I didn't end up knitting as much as I kind of expected to on that trip because of that. And again, want to reiterate here that, you know, that doesn't matter to me so much. What matters to me the most is that everyone is okay, my family is okay, everyone is safe, everyone is back home and doing just great, and so that is what matters the most to me, and I'm so happy about that. And I could care less if I, you know, don't get as much knitting done, you know, or whatever. But I guess that's to say that I maybe have closer to like a 1 week amount of knitting done than what you might expect for like 2 weeks. Although the last couple days I have been knitting quite a bit. So anyway, sorry, it's already been 10 minutes and I haven't even shown you a single thing. If you're still watching this, thank you. I'm sorry. But let's get into what I've been working on, what I've been knitting. I feel like I didn't clear my memory card before I started this. So there's a good chance that we get cut off, but we're just gonna go. We're just gonna do our best. Okay. So first up, I do have, I think you can call it a finished object. I have not woven in the ends and I have not blocked it yet. I actually finished this morning. Normally I would count that as finished for sure, but weaving in the ends is such a significant part of this project that it feels like it's not done. But I finished my new design, which I have tentatively been calling the Slanty Stripes Vest, and here it is. And y'all, I love it. As soon as I finished it, I put it on. I love this project. This is a new design by me, and I have shared about it a little bit the last couple episodes, but here it is complete. And let me give you some information. Before I go too far, let me give you some information about it. So again, this is not any available pattern. This is a design that is currently in the works by myself. The yarn I'm using is a combination of a couple of the Woolberry fingering weight bases. So I used, some of them are on her Berry Cashmere base, some are on Berry Sock, and some are on Berry Mini. They're all a combination of like wool. The Cashmere one has cashmere, and I think all of them may have nylon as well. They're all 2-ply fingering weight yarns, and they're all similar like plumpness and gauge. They feel different, of course, like the cashmere ones feel the best. But I have 6 colors here, 1 main color and 5 contrast colors. The main color I used is I think originally she called it like Mine, but it may just be called Mine now. It's from her Under the Sea, like her ocean collection that she did last year. And it is the palest, sweetest little, it's like a creamy pink. That's the main color. And then the contrast colors are Puget Sound is the light blue here. Escape is the gray. Moab is this kind of clay color. Marigold is the yellow, and Night Swim is the darker blue. And I knit this on a US size 3 needle. Yeah, and I guess I can give you guys a little bit of an overview of just kind of what the construction was like. So I did knit it flat, the front and the back. The reason for that is because of these little intarsia stripes. So you can tell here, like, you know, where they change color, where the stripes change color partway through. It's like a little slant. That's why I call it slanty stripes. They're these little kind of like slanted color changes, and those utilize intarsia, which if you haven't used before, definitely doable, manageable. You can for sure do it. I really like intarsia. I think it's really fun, but it is a way when you're knitting flat, you can use it to change colors. It's just kind of like a flat color work technique. And so I knit the back panel first, and then I knit the front panel and split up here and did a V-neck in the front. And then I seamed up the sides. So you may be able to see my side seam a little bit there. And I left a little split hem at the bottom. So I did twisted ribbing at the bottom, or I guess it's half twisted ribbing. And so I left a little split there on both sides. And then I did picked up around the armholes and around the neck to do a nice clean I-cord edging around all of the edges. So we've got an I-cord here and around the neck. I have not finished that cleanly or anything. I still have to weave in all the ends and put everything together. I did do a 3 needle bind off for the shoulders. You could do Kitchener as well, either way. And yeah, I have just started working on grading the pattern. It is probably going to be another couple weeks before I have a testing call. I just want to take tons of time, especially for the intarsia. I want to make sure that I have really good resources and tutorials and everything for how to make this, and I want to make sure that the grading and sizing and everything is good, and also want to make sure that my tech editor has enough time to take a look at everything as well. So it'll probably be a couple weeks before I have a test call for this pattern, but definitely keep an eye out. I would say my goal is to 2 weeks from now have a testing call open for this vest. And I know that I'm going to wear it both as like a vest on top of like a collared shirt or on top of a dress with a collar or whatever, but also just like as a kind of shirt, like a tank. I think it would be really cute like that as well. And I can't wait to block it and see it all relax and get all the ends woven in. That is my tentative plan for this evening, is to spend the whole evening weaving in ends. So yeah, that is my only quote-unquote finished object for the week. If you count this as finished, there's still probably hours of work left because of all of the ends. I could show you guys the inside. I should have done, for my last couple stripey turtle tanks, I did the weave and Steven method as I went, and this one I just like couldn't be bothered, which I should have done it, but here it is. Here are all the ends. There's a lot. Oh no. Yeah, wish me luck. I will definitely be recommending not this. I think if you do it as you go, it's like much more manageable as well, but I didn't do that because I just wanted to finish it. I was excited. I was really enjoying knitting on it. This knit up so fast. I know it's fingering weight yarn and it is like quite a bit of positive ease, but still it was such a quick knit. I think it's just like something about the stripes. It's just so fun and I just wanted to keep going. Like I was just really enjoying it, and so I just kept going. But I love it. So, and I hope you guys love it too. It seems like, I don't know, I feel like more so than, I guess I've only done 2 patterns before, but more so than some other patterns, I've had lots of questions about it. People seem excited about it, so I'm really excited about it too, and I'm hoping for a published date late August is the goal. So yeah, that is my only finished object. Let me take a sip here. Okay, what's next? Another in-progress design I have that I am hoping to finish my original sample in the next couple of days. Okay, sorry, what I expected happened and my memory card ran out of space. So I'm not sure exactly where we left off, so I'm just going to start from the beginning with this. My next project I'm going to share is this work in progress. It is a new design by me, and it is my dad's sweater is what I've been calling it, or just dad's sweater. I'm not sure what exactly I will name the pattern. I could call it Chris's sweater or Chris or something. That's my dad's name. But I've talked about this a couple times in the past, so if you, I'm not going to go through like, you know, all of the details, but if you are interested in the inspiration for the sweater, definitely go back a couple of episodes. You can find me talking more about it, but this is one of the projects I took on the trip with me, and I did get quite a bit done on it. I finished the first sleeve on the plane, and then I finished the body shortly after I got back from the trip. But let me give you some information about what it is and what's going on here. So this is a new design by me. It is not available or published yet. This one will probably be quite a bit longer before I have a testing call and publish it, just because I don't want to do both patterns at the same time. I want to give plenty of time and space. So this one will be next after the vest. But yes, the yarn is La Bien-Aimée Corrie worsted in the French gray colorway, and the quick just kind of inspiration here is that my dad still wears these wool sweaters. They're Land's End, I think, and he wore them all through my childhood, and I have very vivid memories of these sweaters, and so the plan was to design a pattern that mimicked these sweaters that he wore. So my favorite features of the sweaters, one is the sleeve. I love this, it's almost like a balloon sleeve. It has really gradual decreases at the beginning and then much more rapid decreases at the end to make this just like really nice, oversized, like puffy sleeve. And then a beautiful squishy fold over collar, and just, it's a top-down set-in sleeve rather than being a drop shoulder. It does have the sleeve cap shaping, and I am not going to ask anyone to do any seaming, so I did all of this by picking up around the armhole and doing short rows on the top for the cap sleeve, and I just really love how it's turning out. I can try it on here if you guys want to see what it looks like on. I'm still have this second sleeve in progress, but that way you guys can kind of see. This is going to look weird and bunchy around my arm, but that way you can see what it looks like at least on this side. So I love it. I know when I block it, this whole part will kind of settle a little bit more, but it is nice and big and cozy fit. The sleeve, like I said, is just my favorite part. I love it. I think the neck is great. Yeah, and I think it's going to just be really nice and relaxed once I'm done with it. So this is my dad's sweater. I am knitting it on a US size 6. And like I said, I expect this pattern to have a testing call in a couple months, probably like end of August or September, early September for the testing call, and then to be published later in the year. So to give testers plenty of time and everything, probably in like November. So that's a little bit of a timeline. Definitely don't hold me to any of that because things can change and things can happen, but I've been, doing my best to try to kind of like plan things out and figure out what my schedule will be like. So anyway, this is my dad's sweater, and I really, really want to finish this sample by the end of this month. So this is June. I want to finish this by the end of June, which is Thursday, I think, and today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, June 28th, and this month ends, I have today and 2 more days after that. And as you all may recall if you've watched my podcast before, I am a firm believer that a sleeve can be knit in a day. However, this is a large sleeve, but I still stand by it. I think a sleeve can be knit in a day. So I'm just going to knit this sleeve tomorrow, and then it'll be done, and no problem at all. We'll see if I actually finish this sleeve tomorrow, but I expect it. I think I will finish because I think I care enough about finishing that I will stay up late to finish. So, but that is my dad's sweater. I have loved the things I've been working on this month. They've been some of my very favorite knits of all time. The birch pullover, which you should go back if you haven't and watch me talk about that in my last episode. This vest, I love. This color palette is so me. Like, I think this is the most me color palette I've ever used. And then what could be more me than an oversized gray wool sweater? Like, that just feels so me. Like, I don't know. I feel like this month I have worked on things that really feel good. They're bringing me a lot of joy, this month's knits. So we'll see. Hopefully I can continue that into the future. But that is what I've been working on. I had 2 other projects that I took with me on vacation. I guess I can take this off now. Oops, I'm kind of throwing things. I had 2 other projects that I took with me on vacation, and one of them did not get a ton of work, so I'll just mention this very briefly. I brought the Moonset Tee by Ozetta that I had cast on before my last episode, and this I brought purposefully as travel knitting, and then I barely worked on it because I also brought my dad's sweater and I just worked on that, and I had another project I brought as well. I maybe put like 5 rows on this, but this is the Moonset Tee by Ozetta, and I really want to have the finished shirt. So maybe I'll do some good focused work on this after I finish all my other stuff. But the yarn I'm using is Ovis, Etc. Igneae in the clay colorway. And yeah, it's a fingering weight yarn. It's a wool and Aimee blend. Oh, and silk. The fingering weight version has silk as well. Aimee is a plant fiber that gives it just like a really nice structure and sheen, and I think will make it just really perfect as a summer tee. So it feels really nice and squishy from the wool, but it also feels pretty lightweight, and I don't know, I really think it's going to make a perfect summer tee, really great fabric. So this yarn I did get at La Mercerie, the yarn store that I work at. So if you are interested in knitting a matching tee, you definitely can, and you can grab that yarn from La Mercerie. So that is the Moonset Tee, which I've made very little progress on. And then the other thing I worked on was the pair of socks that I am knitting for my brother. So I mentioned that when I was anxious, I didn't feel like knitting, and that was definitely true. But after I started to feel a little bit better, the only thing I wanted to work on was these socks. This is the only thing that I could muster to work on. So I made quite a bit of progress on the socks when I last spoke to you all, and when I went on my trip, I had maybe 2 inches into the cuff. And so, yeah, I did work on this quite a bit during my travels. It is, I guess I need to step back and give you some information. Oh, I forgot to give the information about this one. I said the yarn, I'm knitting it on a US 2.5 instead of a US 3. I have learned recently that I am, I think, somewhat of a loose knitter. Maybe not super loose, but a little bit loose. And I'm knitting the second size for this one. That's the Moonset Tee by Ozetta. For this one, this is a pair of socks for my brother. The yarn I'm using is Grenouille Co. It is her 85-15 sock base, so 85% merino wool and 15% nylon. And there's no pattern here. I'm just doing kind of like a self-drafted 3x1 ribbed sock. I did 1x1 rib for about 1 inch at the top, and then I switched to 3x1 rib. Oh, I didn't say the colorway. This colorway, sorry, I guess I'm out of it. I didn't even realize I was out of it, but I guess I am. This colorway is from the 2021 Advent. It is the final 25th day skein, and the colorway is Wolf's Bane. And it is just a beautiful brown, blue, purple, gray type color. And I think I've shown close-ups of this in the past. I will show another. If you guys want to see what it looks like. I don't know how good my lighting is today. Maybe my shirt is causing trouble, or maybe it's this. Stop! I don't know. There we go. You can see it a little bit better now. So, yeah. That is Wolf's Bane. So this is still the first sock. I have not yet finished the first sock, but I finished the leg, and oh, is it gonna focus back on me? Maybe a good time for me to take a drink. Okay. There we go. But yes, I finished the leg, I put in the heel, and then I did the heel flap and the gusset and did all of that. And now just on the, I guess, body of the foot, just on the foot. So I'll just knit this until it's long enough for my brother's feet, and then I will put it in the toe and then do the next one. So that is that. And that's really all I worked on. I said I did a 3x1 rib. I cast on 64 stitches for this on US size 0 needles. So I think on small circumference needles my gauge is actually quite loose. So I have to do fewer stitches than other people I think often do, and I have to do smaller needles than other people often do, because I always feel like my socks end up too big. For the longest time I knit socks and they just kept ending up too big. And so, I don't know, maybe that's because my feet are really small too. But I have just kind of accepted that I knit socks on a US 0, and I often do cast on fewer stitches as well, just to make them the right size. So that is my final kind of work in progress that I have been working on. As far as kind of plans, things that I have that I am hoping to work on next. Oh, also, I hope you guys can't hear this. The windows are open up here because it's been kind of hot in Seattle the last couple of days. And so we open the windows, but there's a street here that hopefully there's not too much traffic noise. Anyway, what was I talking about? Plans. So I mentioned that I really wanted to knit a sweater every month of this year, and if I finish this sweater this month, I will be on track for that. But I kind of am not feeling a ton of sweater mojo for next month. I'm feeling summer tee mojo. Like I want to knit t-shirts instead of a full-length, full-sleeve sweater. So I'm not really sure how that fits in with my goal, but I'm definitely going to try to just like follow the joy. There is a sweater that I kind of want to have, but I don't know that I necessarily want to knit it right now. But I really want to have it. I want to knit another oversized seasons cardigan, which is a pattern by Ozetta that I test knit for her at the end of 2020, and it's one of my most worn sweaters. It's a half fisherman's rib cardigan that is just super wearable and cozy, and I want to knit just like a plain gray version that I can just wear on top of everything. So I may start on that, but like maybe I won't finish it next month, and I will also spend a lot of time on summer tees. Like I want to finish the moonset tee. I want to revisit the other tank design that I shared some about earlier, like this spring. I want to revisit that. That one is a design that I will not publish until next spring probably, just because there's a lot more involved in it, so that one will be a while, but I do kind of want to get back into the sample. I have other yarn for other tees that I want to knit, like other tanks and tees and stuff, so maybe I'll kind of focus on that for July, or I don't know. I have also had some sock mojo. I guess I could knit more socks. I'm just gonna follow wherever the good knitting energy takes me. So we'll see. But I also mentioned last episode that I wanted to sew a Fringe field bag, and which is a sewing pattern by Grainline Studio. And so many of you mentioned to me that there are video tutorials for this pattern, which I had no idea about, and thank you so much for letting me know. So I'm definitely going to check those out before I start sewing, but I also had some other people say that they wanted to sew one too. So this started out as just like a super casual knit along between myself and my friend Maya, and I'm not going to do like an official sew along or anything because I don't feel like I know enough about sewing, and I'm not super like established in the sewing community or anything. I've sewn like 5 things. But if you are interested in sewing a Fringe field bag and you want to sew along with us, definitely do. I'm probably going to cut my fabric out maybe next weekend, and we'll see where it goes from there. So I don't know, there's no timeline, there's no anything, but just like message me if you're sewing one and we can talk about it if you want to. So the most casual sew along that's ever happened is just me like, hey, maybe sew this thing if you want. So yeah, I don't have any acquisitions. Oh, I don't have any yarn acquisitions. I do have a tool acquisition that I got. I got a set of these knitting Barber cables, which I had heard a ton about. We carry them at the store at La Mercerie, and lots of people were talking about it and loved them, and I just never really did it, mostly because, okay, well, first let me tell you what they are, and then I'll talk about why I wasn't really on board at first. So the knitting Barber cable the set comes with 3 cables, and they're basically these, I don't know if they're made of rubber or what, but they're like squishy, plasticky tubes. They're like really skinny tubes. And the idea is that they're really easy to hold stitches on, especially if you want to like try on your project. You can take this little, the end of your Barber cable. It's a little hole on the end because the whole thing is a tube. You put it right on the end of your needle, so I can show maybe close up. This is not going to focus, so I don't know why I'm even trying to do this. It's a horrible idea. But basically, you have your needle. Let's see. Did that kind of focus? So you have your needle, and then you have your tube, and you put the tube right on the end. Just put it right on there. Sorry, this is a weird close-up of my hands. Hopefully, ooh, I'm showing you all. I may have to cut that because I'm showing you all my cut, which is probably gross. Okay, but anyway, you put that on the end of the needle, and then you can slide really easily all your stitches onto the cord. So it's really great for like if you have a sweater and you want to try on the sweater, you can transition all your stitches. Come back to me, please. Oh, there we go. You can really easily slide all your stitches onto this cord, and then you can try on your sweater and everything, and then you can slide them back onto your needle. What I normally do before the Barber cable is I have interchangeable needles. So I would just use like my extender and add another interchangeable cord on and then slide it on so that it was bigger so that I could try it on. Part of the reason that I got these cords, one, I wanted to try them out, also because like lots of people come into the store and ask about them, and so I wanted to try them out so that I knew what was going on and I could tell people how to use it and everything. But I also wanted them because I wanted to try on this sweater on my way home from work. I knew I was going to have enough, like get to the point where I wanted to try it on. And so I didn't have extra interchangeable cords with me, and I wanted to try this on like in the ferry terminal while I was on my way home from work. So I got the Barber cables and I tried them there, and I would say I'm not as in love with them as I think a lot of people are, but I do like them. So I would say it's a like, not love type situation for me. I did think that maybe it differs the yarn that you're using and like the gauge, like how tight it is, but it was pretty easy to get the stitches on the needle, but it didn't go back, or sorry, it was pretty easy to get them onto the cable, off of my needle and onto the cable, but it didn't go back from the cable onto my needle as cleanly as I wanted to, and I had to kind of like go close to one at a time and like scooch them onto the needle. I was hoping that it would be more of just like a whap type situation, and it wasn't. Which is okay. But anyway, it does come with 3 cords, one extra long one, this one's like really long, and then 2 shorter ones. And I saw actually, my friend Maya, I saw had hers use these to hold armhole stitches. Just had it through her like armhole stitches and had it tied. And I thought that was such a great idea to use these for that. So I got them because I thought they might be useful for that, and also just thought it'd be fun to try. So that's my only kind of yarn-related acquisition. I did not buy any yarn in the last several weeks. I've been trying to be a little bit, I don't know, my stash is really growing. It's grown a lot in the last couple of years, and I'm trying to be a little bit more reasonable. Like, there's so much yarn in my stash that I love and I really want to knit with. And every time I buy more yarn, it basically puts me farther away from using some of the yarn in my stash that I really love and want to knit with. So I've been thinking about it that way a little bit more, and I think that's helped me like not want to buy as much yarn. That's not to say that I'm not gonna buy, like I buy more yarn all the time, and you know, this has been 2 weeks that I haven't bought yarn. Like, this is not a huge thing, but yeah, anyway, I'm not, you know, putting myself on a yarn diet or anything. Like, if I have yarn that I really want, I will buy it, but yeah, I have been, I think, just a little bit less with the yarn buying recently. So yeah, I think that's all the crafting stuff that I have. I was gonna just give some general life updates and talk about what things have been like the last couple weeks and like what we have ahead. And if you're not interested in that, that's totally fine. And I will talk to you next time. But for those of you that are interested, I talked about some of this stuff already. We did go on our trip to Wisconsin and we got to see Madison, which was really cute. That's where my sister and her boyfriend live. And it was way cuter than I expected. Maybe the time of year was just really good for us to go because it was nice and warm and sunny, but not like too hot. But we got to do some things there. We kayaked on a lake that starts with an M, and I can't remember the name of the lake right now. But we did that. We toured also, it's like a civic center that was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. And it's called something Terrace. Those of you that are from Wisconsin are probably watching this right now and you're like screaming at the screen the name of these things that I can't remember. But we went on a tour of the terrace. We also went to University Terrace. Like University of Wisconsin has this little terrace. But we went, they had live music, and we went and had dinner, and there was a beautiful sunset, and that was so much fun. And then we went to Chicago and had a couple fun days in Chicago as well. We went on like a boat tour, and we went on a pizza tour, and we just kind of like walked around the city as well. We went to Wrigley, the home of the Chicago Cubs. So we went to a baseball game there. That was a lot of fun. And then we didn't end up getting to do all the activities we had planned for Milwaukee, but we did get to go to the Brewers game in Milwaukee, and that was one of my favorite stadiums that I've ever been to. My husband, Nafis, and I have been talking about how much we loved. It's not called Miller Park anymore, which I hate because I liked the name Miller Park, but it's called American Family Field now, I think. And anyway, we just really liked that stadium. It was really a great experience. I had probably my favorite ever ballpark food at that stadium. It was cheese curds, but they were ranch seasoned, not like a ranch dip. It was like kind of like a ranch dressing packet that they like just seasoned the cheese curds with. So good. Oh my gosh, I'm wishing that I had gotten more of them. It would have been like not responsible of me to eat more cheese curds on that day, but it was so good. I want more. It was really good, and that was really fun. It was hot there, though. It was like over 90, and it was humid, and so we were just like sweating the whole time, but still had a great time. And we got to see the Cardinals play the Brewers there. The Cardinals are my favorite baseball team that I grew up following. So, and my family too, so we got to go and watch the Cardinals. So that was a lot of fun. Like I mentioned, there were some, medical issues during that trip. And so, just really grateful now that everyone is doing okay. And we came back home and, grateful that I got to see my family and spend some time with everyone. And got to see the things that we did and do the things that we did. And I'm already thinking about when I want to go back and visit Hannah again, my sister again, maybe next summer. And yeah, altogether was mixed, but still just like really happy to see everyone and see the things that we did. So that was one thing. We went to Wisconsin. I also talked last episode about my finger injury, which if I didn't cut it out, you guys may have seen more of a close-up than you probably wanted when I was showing things earlier. You will notice I'm not wearing a Band-Aid. The last maybe 2 days I've not been wearing a Band-Aid. It's not like bleeding or anything anymore. It's also not completely healed. I'm not going to go into super intense detail about this, but I did cut my finger when I was cutting a watermelon a couple weeks ago. It has been over 2 weeks now since that happened, and it feels like it's going to be forever until it heals. But I'm not super worried anymore about nerve damage because I can feel like, everything in here. There's still some pain when I like push it or squeeze it in a certain way. But I am comfortable enough to not wear the Band-Aid into knit without it, so without the Band-Aid on, so that seems good. That seems like progress. So definitely improved, but not all the way back to normal yet for my finger injury. Okay, other things that I have. Norman is up and walking around. Do you want to come say hello? Someone asked me, I think commented on my last video, or maybe 2 videos ago, asking when I was going to have Norman merch, which at the time I was like redoing my branding and stuff, and I was like, do I need to rethink everything and make the logo just like a Boston Terrier? Like, should Norman be the logo? I didn't end up going that direction, but maybe I should put together some Norman merch as well. I don't know. I wasn't planning on doing any merch at all, so we'll see. Maybe just like limited edition Norman merch, or Gently Chaotic Knits merch or something. I'm not sure. I mean, it's hard for me to imagine that people would be really interested in that, but if I'm wrong, let me know. But other things that I have. So I have shared in the past, I have a plant subscription that my mom got me for Christmas last year. So every month I get a new household plant, and I got June's plant. So I wanted to share it with you. So here it is. This is my June plant. I have it all potted up here, and this one, normally the plant comes with like a little card with information about what the plant is and how to take care of it and everything. And this one just came with a card that said mystery plant. I don't know why they didn't tell me what type of plant this is or how to care for it. But luckily, one of my friends watched one of my previous episodes, and I was talking about a plant that I got from a plant sale or something, and I didn't know what type of plant it was, and she recommended to me this app called Picture This, and it is for plant identification. So you can take a picture of your plant and upload it to the app, and it will tell you what type of plant you have. It will also you can like log all your plants in there, and it has care instructions and everything. So really cool. I got the app and I took a picture of this plant, and apparently it is a Hoya carnosa, which is a definitely unique, new to me plant. This is actually, I think, my first Hoya. I have never had a Hoya before, and I know that they're pretty popular. I actually know about Hoyas the most from Stacy of Stress Knits. I know she loves Hoyas, and yeah, I'm excited for this to be my first Hoya in my collection. So this is probably one of my favorite plants that I got from the subscription. I think most of them have stayed alive, except maybe one of them. So I guess 5 of the 6 are still kicking. But a couple of them are pretty similar to each other, and like I got bamboo, and that one just kind of died, and I didn't really know what to do with it. So like, the subscription has definitely been mixed. There have been some really great ones. Like my favorite one, I know I showed when I got it, but this one is my favorite. Actually, is this one a Hoya? I don't remember what this one is. Maybe this one's a Hoya too. But this one is doing super well. It's not focusing. It was tiny. It only had like 2 or 3 leaves when I got it. I don't know if this is going to focus or if you can see very well this plant. It only had like 2 or 3 leaves when I got it, and it has grown a ton, and it is doing really well. Also, shout out to this pot that my friend Ray made for me in her ceramics class. It has drainage and everything. But yes, this one I think is maybe one of my favorites that I've gotten in the subscription, just because it's so unique. Like, I feel like this leaf shape is really unique, and I like the way it looks like it might become kind of like a trailing plant as well. At first when I got it, I was unsure if it was supposed to be like standing up or if it was supposed to be kind of like leaned over, like floppy like this. And I found pictures of other people's, actually on the app, Picture This, you can see pictures of other people's, like once you have identified what type of plant it is, you can see other people's pictures of their plants. And I saw some others that were also like floppy like this, so I think it's supposed to be floppy like this. But yeah, This is my Hoya carnosa, I think. Not 100% sure, but that's what I think it is. So that is my new plant, my June plant. Let's see. What else has been going on? I mentioned it's been hot here in Seattle. It finally feels like summer. The last couple days have been really hot. Actually got up to 90 degrees Fahrenheit yesterday. I think I may have talked about this last summer. We live in a duplex and we have a top floor and a bottom floor. So like I don't know if anyone cares about this. Basically, this is like a house. It's an old house that they split in half, and it has a like top floor and then it has like a basement. The basement isn't all the way down. There are like windows at the top of the basement. It's like not all the way underground, but most of the way underground. Anyway, our top floor gets really hot when it's hot outside, and we don't have air conditioning because air conditioning is not a thing that exists here in Seattle very often. More so now because it's getting warmer. Thank you, climate change. But a lot of places still don't have air conditioning. So we are one of the places that doesn't have air conditioning. And so our top floor gets really hot, but our bottom floor stays nice and cool. Like our basement stays really cool. And so we have our guest bed is downstairs. And so we have been sleeping downstairs the last couple days because it's just too hot to sleep upstairs. So yeah, it's been hot, but luckily we've been just fine because of that. We have been doing a lot more outdoors. We did our first grill of the season. We went and grilled a couple days ago outside and ate dinner outside. We went to Sunday brunch outside. We didn't make our own brunch. We walked to the like brunch place that's just down the street of us and sat outside and had a lovely brunch. I've been doing more outdoor knitting. Nofis has been taking he has like a little disc golf basket that he'll put out in our front yard and practice putting outside. And so I'll sit out with him and drink iced tea and knit, and it's just so lovely. And when I go to work as well, when I go to La Mercerie, I have to take the ferry, and the ferry rides have been just a dream. They've been beautiful because the weather's been so nice. I love sitting out on the top deck when the weather's nice outside and knitting. So yeah, it's been really lovely, and we've got lots of fun like outdoor stuff planned. We went to a baseball game yesterday. We went to a Mariners game yesterday, and on Friday we are going to a picnic. My mom also for Christmas got us this. It's from a company called Amazing Co. And they do these like planned kind of like scavenger hunt picnics where they send you clues and you have to follow. Okay, sorry. So the company is called Amazing Co. And they do these picnics where it's kind of like a scavenger hunt as well. They send you clues and you have to go around the city and like pick up your food, and then they have like a place for you to take it and have a picnic. And so it's just going to be a really fun like outdoor summer date for us. So we're going to do that on Friday. We have some really fun stuff coming up in July. My birthday is in July 10th. So I think are going to do some fun things for that. We are going on a weekend trip to Oregon in July as well. Just going down to like the Oregon coast to have some beach days and just some hopefully nice weather, a little weekend getaway, which will be really fun. We are also, Office is headed back to Oklahoma for a short time in July. We have what we have been calling Lemon Fest. A couple of our friends and us, we are going to come together one day and just cook all lemon foods. So like lemon ice cream and lemon cake and lemon pasta and lemonade and just all lemon foods and like wear yellow and call it Lemon Fest. So we're going to do that this month. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to knit lots of summer teas and we're going to do fun outdoor warm activities. And it's just going to be a really good month, I feel like. So it already has been good. We've been taking good advantage. Like I mentioned, we grilled. We have our favorite grilling recipe is teriyaki shrimp. So we grilled teriyaki shrimp this weekend. Right now, today, we put some barbecue chicken in the crock pot, and we're going to have barbecue chicken sandwiches for dinner tonight. And we're going to grill again on Friday, I think. We are going to grill chicken and veggie kebabs, which is going to be so good. And the next week, we are going to make sourdough pizza, and we're going to try, I saw on Instagram, my friend Maya made these like berry and Greek yogurt popsicles, and so I got the things, and we're going to try to make them too next week. So those will hopefully be super tasty. We did make, so it was our anniversary when we were on vacation. We actually left, the day we left was mine and Ovis's wedding anniversary, and we have a tradition that every year for our anniversary we make ice cream sandwiches, because we had ice cream sandwiches instead of cake at our wedding. So a couple days ago, since we were out of town, we couldn't do it then, but we decided to do it when we got back, and the weather was perfect for ice cream and ice cream sandwiches. So we made cookies and homemade ice cream, and we made ice cream sandwiches a couple days ago. That was so good. So yeah, I don't know. It's wild how much the weather affects my mood. Just like it being nice outside is just huge for me. Like, I feel so much happier. I feel so much better. It's just, yeah. Summer is going to be good. I can feel it. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, just excited to keep knitting and sharing it with you all. I'm excited about the designs I have upcoming. I don't know, I'm just feeling really excited about a lot of it. So yeah, just really trying to lean in and take advantage of like the bits of joy that I can find in my day-to-day. I know, I will just say very briefly here, I know that it's been a really tough time, especially for those of us in the US politically, with what's been going on with the Supreme Court and the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and what that could potentially mean for a lot of the other rights and protections that we have here as Americans. And I'm happy to, like, outwardly and openly take a stance here. I haven't said anything about it yet, just because I have been trying really hard. Well, I mean, I of course, like, well, not of course, but I talked about it a little bit on Instagram as well, but haven't really talked about it here in this episode yet. And I think the reason is that we're all just doing the best that we can, and personally, as an individual, like, I'm doing the best that I can to, like, be okay and move forward. And so part of that is just finding the joy where I can, and, distracting myself if that makes sense, and, going on hikes and cooking good food and knitting, and really, really trying to focus and invest my time and energy into the things in my life that I love, and being really present in the life that I'm living here and the people that I'm around. But it is really disheartening. I think very straightforwardly here that it's really important that all people have complete control over what happens inside of their bodies. And it's frightening to me to think about what this could mean potentially for other protections that people have, that we've kind of fought for in this country. So I'm not happy about that. And I have been thinking a lot about what I can do to help. And I think there are a lot of resources out there for things people can do and where you can put your money. And I have been spending some time looking into that, and will continue to do so, and would encourage you all to as well if that is something that you want to do. But in addition to that, I think it's important that we all do our best to just be okay and take care of ourselves. And so I'm going to try to do that too. So didn't mean to get super heavy here at the end, but I really appreciate all the kindness that this community has to offer, and I really hope that we'll be able to continue to like support each other and encourage each other moving forward. And I appreciate all of you. So that's all I have for today. I feel like this was maybe a little bit of a lengthy one, and I do need to take the dog outside before it gets too late. We got dinner in the crock pot and everything ready to go, so yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I had thought about whether to keep my final kind of like sign-off line here the same or if I should change it, and I still think it's a great idea for all of you to watch baseball, so I'm going to still say that I hope you do lots of knitting and watch lots of baseball and have a great week. Bye.